The reason behind the abandoned kitten's continued growth was unknown to the woman who found it on the street, but it was quickly found out once a veterinarian examined some X-rays. While it might be uncommon to encounter an abandoned animal in Sweden fending for itself, there are certain nations where it is more frequent to see animals living on the streets than others. Thus, she was taken aback when this woman discovered a tiny kitten on her own and brought it home right away, but she had no idea what would happen next. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. In 2018, the narrative was set in a tiny Swedish town. While going about her regular activities, a woman named Lindstein had an unforeseen event that would drastically alter her life. Choosing to make the most of the lovely day, she set out to take a stroll under the sun. Lindstein set out on her customary stroll, circumnavigating the fields that surrounding her house as it was getting started. She was quite happy with the walk's tranquility and calmness. However, that's when an extremely odd incident occurred. A small little meow came from someplace in the grass, and Lindstein could hear it. Lindstein started searching in the grass, confused and a little afraid of what she may find. She would follow the sound of the meows any time she heard them. The woman eventually discovered a little cat buried in the grass. She had never before come upon an abandoned animal, so she was taken aback by the find. Lindstein glanced about, trying to find the little cat's owner, but she saw no one, and nobody else appeared to be looking for a lost cat too. The cat itself was rather disheveled and was coated in dirt, suggesting that it had spent some time outside by itself. This small ball of fur was the only thing in front of Lindstein. There was no trace of a mom cat nearby. Since Lindstein loved animals, she was aware that she couldn't abandon the kitten in the middle of the lawn. The kind woman couldn't stand the idea of anything bad happening to the cute little ball of fluff. It was too little to take care of itself. Thus, Lindstein decided to pick up the kitten and bring it home with her, even though she already had 2 cats of her own to take care of. The woman thought the white kitten, with the exception of a few spots of ginger here and there, was one of the most beautiful cats she had ever seen. Lotus was the name she chose. The little kitten first gave the impression of being a typical home cat. Lindstein bathed the animal and made sure it didn't require any medical attention before feeding the small creature, which the cat quickly gobbled up. It was obviously rather hungry because it had been left alone for some time. Although Lindstein's older cats were first apprehensive about the newcomer, they eventually warmed up to their new younger sibling, which made Lindstein very pleased. However, as the weeks passed and Lotus started to develop, Lindstein became aware of something really odd about the somewhat little cat. The cat appeared to be expanding without showing any signs of stopping. He would eventually surpass the size of her other kitties, full-grown cats. Lotus's rapid growth started to worry Lindstein, so she made the decision to take him to the veterinarian to make sure everything was well. She wasn't sure if Lotus's growth was due to a potential medical problem, like a cyst, or if the cat's breed alone was to blame for his seemingly uncontrollable growth. She took him to the veterinarian, who would provide Lindstein with some extremely intriguing information following the examination. Initially, however, the veterinarian chose to have Lotus undergo some X-rays to ensure that there was no inside illness. The veterinarian had a suspicion about the animal's growth at this point, but he wanted to confirm that everything was in order medically before informing the cat's owner. Ultimately, following the completion of all X-rays and testing, the veterinarian informed Lindstein of his findings. He disclosed that the cat was getting so big due of his breed and that there was nothing physically wrong with him. Lotus was, as it turned out, a Maine Coon. Maine. Coons are regarded be the gentle giants of the domestic cat world because of their magnificent stature and gregarious disposition. These cats have a special mystical aspect that makes them a favorite among cat lovers worldwide. Their unusual long fur surrounds their expressive face like a lion's mane. The Maine Coon has a strong resemblance to the Norwegian forest cat, and its ancestors were European. The fact that these cats are not known to be aggressive, in spite of their size, distinguishes them from their predecessor, the Norwegian forest cat. When Lindstein learned the vet's news, she was taken aback. Considering that these cats can fetch upwards of $1,000 apiece, she was shocked to discover this kitten lounging in the grasslands near her house. Taken aback by the circumstances, Lindstein brought Lotus back to her house, where she proceeded to provide for and cherish the kitty. If someone believed the cat was a Norwegian forest cat and should be allowed to live in the woods because that is where he would naturally be, then he may have been abandoned or left on his own. Fortunately, Lindstein was delighted to save the tiny kitten. As the weeks passed and Lotus continued to grow rapidly, Lindstein was astounded by how big he was becoming and how his features were beginning to completely develop. According to Lindstein, Lotus's mother, many people think he looks like a mini lynx, as she told the dodo. Sometimes others think that he looks like a little lion. They wouldn't be too far off, however, considering that Maine coons have the potential to reach enormous lengths of 100 centimeters and weigh over 30 pounds, 13.6 kilograms. Shortly after saving the stunning cat, Lindstein created an Instagram account for him so that everyone could see how stunning he was. 4 years later, the account is still active. At around 4 years old, Lotus weighs a substantial 22 pounds, 10 kilograms, according to the scale. When he extends to his maximum length, he can occupy the entire sofa from arm to arm. Considering he weighs far under 30 pounds, this enormous moggy is surprisingly only considered somewhat bigger than typical. Lotus's mom has had to make some changes at home, mostly to his restroom because of his size. Lotus relieves himself in an extra-large plastic storage container rather than a standard cat litter pan. Lotus is also too big to go in a cat carrier. Instead, he must ride about in a large dog crate when riding in Lindstein's vehicle. Lotus likes to put on a cat harness and go on walks with his owner, in contrast to many other cats that often prefer their independence and to roam around at their own discretion. When they first encounter him, both people and dogs often respond, according to Lindstein. At first, many believe him to be a dog. It's fortunate that he gets along well with everyone. Lotus has many wonderful experiences with his family, like hiking and lounging in the green garden because he lives in Sweden. The cats seem to like spending time outside and going on adventures. With more than 300,000 followers, his Instagram account, Lotus the Maine, is still expanding. He may be seen in many pictures hanging out with his family, lounging on any comfortable area he can find, or going on excursions. Lindstein considers herself extremely fortunate to have discovered Lotus, and she has no regrets at all. What a fantastic tale! I can only picture what it would be like to have a cat that is so unique. If your pet cat continued to grow and you discovered that it was actually a large breed of cat, how would you respond? Would you continue to hold on to it? Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.